Okay, I can. How's it, everyone? Welcome to Property Ask Ekow. And as you may know, our mission is to help 3,000 purpose-driven entrepreneurs go full-time doing what they love through the power of real estate. And as you know, today we're going to be talking. Of course, today is a big day because we have our live draw and we've got a winner. So you must watch till the end of this video to find out who won the grand prize of 50,000 Rand worth of property course. Yeah, again, today we thought before we announce our winner, we should just be talking about, how do you build your wealth? And of course, we cannot talk about wealth building without talking about mental health. With all things that's happening in our economy now and with everything that's going on, I think it's about time that we discuss that. And I've got with me, of course, I'm your host, Ekow Quagraine from Property Ask Ekow, and I've got my guest host with called Pontsho Maphanga, and we'll be having this conversation on why mental health is important and why do we think that we should be taking care of ourselves. We cannot build the legacies without burdening our mental health. So I guess to me, the most important question is, why is mental health important? And to me, I've drilled it down to basic form of human beings and how we live, right? It affects how we think. It affects how we feel. It affects how we act as we cope with life, right? And it also determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is very important in every stage of our life, from childhood to and adolescence, all the way through adulthood and aging. And this is a topic that we cannot forgo. And coming from Black community, we tend to, kind of push this under pillow somewhere, and we say, like, a lot of us think that it's a taboo to talk about it, or you're not strong if you display any sort of mental sickness or depression. And depression is real, and the business that we're in, running businesses, being an entrepreneur, it's hard work, and we make it look easy, and sometimes we forget about talking about the very thing that made us start our business. And to me, I always say the point of everything that we do is to is to serve a purpose, right? And to me, the point of living is having a purpose to serve, as opposed to living for a lifestyle. And I guess the two is intertwined. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be going through. I'll allow my guest host to also share his view, and then we take it from there. We're going to keep it very short and sweet because I know that you're looking forward to hearing who won this grand prize, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you so much, Mr. Ekow. I think, look, I am really looking forward to having this discussion, simply because I mean, I'm in ministry as well, and that's the biggest topic at the moment. Mental health, and the impact it has, especially on young people. The pandemic and the unrest last year didn't really make things even easier for us. It became worse. I feel so sorry for people in the entertainment industry. It's really difficult right now, and I think we are still yet to see more and more sort of some of our entertainers, or artists for that matter, sort of like go through these struggles, and it's yet to be sort of like visible, because I mean they are in the limelight. So for me, I think it's very important to talk about the matter of mental health, and most importantly, come up with solutions that are going to be solid and will have a real impact, in people's lives. And it's not true, that no one really goes through troubles or issues or struggles in life. We all do. We just never really talk about them or publicize them on social media. We show the good stuff, we show the happy moments. We don't really show the struggles behind the glamour and the beauty that people see, with the filter on and the edits and everything. But there's a real life behind. There's real people behind, and we all go through struggles. So for me, what I'm looking forward to sharing is strategies and ways in which young people can better sort of put themselves in positions where you are strong, even when situations come, you can withstand those situations. And the ultimate thing for me is being in touch with your spiritual self before your physical self, because with the physical, things come and go.
Yes.
Money comes and goes, friends come and go. Today you're going through the season, tomorrow you're going through the season. But if you are strong spiritually and you understand your purpose, and you know that everything and anything that happens happens because God allows it, it's easier for you to navigate through life. It's easier for you to moderate through life. So for me, I'm just really looking forward to having that discussion, and obviously announcing the winner for our 50K class. So I think that's exciting for me, because that will definitely change someone's life. And my grandmother always says, if you change one person's life, you've changed the nation, because that person will go on and continue to change other people's lives. So for me, I'm excited to know and to find out who won. In fact, I didn't want to know. I told the team that I don't want to know. I just want to hear it from the announcement. And yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yes. So I think, Mr. Pontsho, just for starters, I like the fact that you touch on spiritual, because it's very, very, very crucial. I mean, we feed the soul with the prayers or whatever that anybody believes in. We Christians, so we can only speak as Christians, but
Yeah,
we don't also then neglect other religion, right? So
yeah,
talking about that, let's start from there, and maybe you can share with us, because you manage a very big portfolio. You manage, a very stressful. You in the advertisement world. The clients are demanding, and they come and go, and they need something now.
yeah.
And how do you go about doing that? I think before I even talk about my stress.
Yeah. Look, it's stressful, right? Like I said in the beginning, everybody has got their own problems. In Zulu they say "Wonke umuntu nenkinga zakhe." Don't be fooled, right? But we all have secrets and strategies that help us make it or get through, right? There's power in the word breakthrough. We're all seeking that. We all want to break through, but we don't understand that for you to break through, you need to use strength and everything that you have to break through whatever it is that you need to break through, right? It doesn't just come from a prayer. You can pray, but you still need to study for the exam. You can pray for your business to be successful and for God to bless it, but you still need to work hard. Those things go hand in hand. So for me, I'm a firm believer in prayer and in faith, right? Even when things don't go my way, I always try to look at it from a brighter side to say, you know what, maybe this is God saying it's not yet my time. I mean, for a fact that last year I went through a very rough patch in my life where technically you've lost everything and you have to go back home to the townships. There's all sorts of talks.
Yes.
There's also things going on around you, and it can easily discourage you. You can either take your life or give up and just give into drugs or whatever lifestyle. It's easy, because you've really collapsed from this level of life or this quality of life to something different that you're not used to, or you're hoping you don't go back to. And it took my faith to get me through that. Hence, I'm saying you on your own, you can't do it. You need God, right? And you made mention of my job and what I do. I mean, working for a company like Avatar Agency Group, it's a very fast-paced environment. Clients are demanding. You consistently need to deliver, consistently need to get new business. So you can imagine how stressful it is. But I have my own strategies, which I'm willing to share today, in terms of how I navigate through, my mental health breakdowns and issues, because I've got issues for days, but it's prayer and therapy that gets me through, and yeah, and I think the most important thing, like you said, the spiritual, right? When it's all said and done, when it's all over, and I'm talking about your career, your business, because business does go through a rough patch. Like if you are going into entrepreneurship, you have to be a soldier. If you're
For
not a soldier,
sure.
not
For
for you.
sure.
You know, you need to
Yeah,
be a soldier, and a soldier needs to be comfortable with going to bed without anything in their stomach. Like you need to be
for
comfortable
sure.
with that because we go
For
through that.
sure.
There are seasons where you go through that. It's not all glamorous and beautiful. You see people in nice cars, and the reason why they put makeup on, they're hiding something. The reason why they put sunglasses on, they're hiding something. The reason why they wear so much jewelry and expensive clothes, they're covering up something. Everybody's going through something, right?
Yes.
And I want people to be real. Let's be real. Whether you're Christian or you are more on the cultural or traditional side or whatever, however you define spirituality, but you need to be very much in touch with your spirituality, especially during times like now. I always say to people, if you don't go to church or you don't pray or believe in God, right now is the time to believe in God,
Mm,
because
mm,
we're living in a very, very difficult world, Mr. Ekow, where young people are still living in this fantasy of I've got time, and I can still make up for it, I can still achieve more. You don't have time, and with everything that's happening right now, you get to see that we don't really have time. You don't have time to procrastinate. If you want to start gym or you want to start a business, start it tomorrow, because we don't
mm,
have time. But it's difficult to start something, put your mind to it, commit to it, and actually follow through with it if you don't have God as your backup. I love a
mm,
scripture that says, I can do it all through God that gives me strength. And for me, that's my biggest belief, that there's nothing I would have achieved in my entire life if it wasn't for God, honestly
mm,
speaking. Right.
mm, mm,
And there's certain situations I would not have gone through or overcame if it wasn't for God. And it took
mm,
me getting on my knees, praying and say, God, I'm not going to take my life because I'm lacking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In
mm,
fact, I'm going to be appreciative of the fact that I have life and I'm awake, which gives me an opportunity to do things differently and be better, right? And God just restores you, strength wise, financially. God will, eventually restore you. You just need to have that faith and that belief. And I think for me, that's what keeps me going, But like
mm.
I said, we're not in church right now. We're not forcing people to start believing and going to church. People feel whatever they feel about religion and Christianity and whatnot, but you need to stand for something, because a man or a person that stands for nothing falls for anything.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
a situation comes, it takes you with. So for me, that's that. Spiritually, being strong in faith, being strong in prayer, it will definitely carry you through tough times.
yeah. No, so I like that, and it's commendable what you've just said, and also me knowing you personally. I think I admire you for sharing your downtown times with me, and then also your good times with me. It's really. I mean, you've been through certain pretty dark spaces, and you've been able to bounce back. And of course, what you're saying is true, because you have that mentality of in every calamity there's an opportunity. And the point, and one thing I like about your mindset is also you always have a reason why. And I think it's very important that you need to know why you started something. Why are you doing this? And
Yeah,
the people you surround yourself with. I mean, we are where we are now because of our relationship, right? And positive relationship. That's key. I personally, I take a lot of my stress out of the gym. I mean,
mhm,
out on the gym.
mhm,
5 a.m. You know my story. Every 3 a.m. I'm awake. 5 a.m. I'm at the gym. That's where I
yeah,
can take all my energy, take all my stress, recoup, and then come back and think clearly.
sure,
Also, that's one thing that people don't do. I do that. I marriage wise, everything. I go through counseling. Whether it's a spiritual leader
yeah,
or an independent person. My wife and I do this all the time. Whenever we hit a stumbling block, we need an independent person to tell us. I don't go to my in-laws to tell me
no,
what we need to do. We
no,
don't go to
no,
my mother-in-law because they are biased. So we always
yeah,
find an independent person to tell
true,
us what we have to do. And it works. So it works for us. It might not work for somebody. But what you're trying to say is that there's always somebody there that's willing to listen, right?
yep,
And exercising is also one of it. Eat healthy. I was listening to a radio station this morning. I can't just recall because I always flip through a whole lot of radio stations in the morning. And the guy
yeah,
was saying, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're saying you're ugly, but who's
yeah,
putting that ugly food in your mouth? It's you, right? So you cannot look at yourself in the mirror and diss yourself if you're the one feeding yourself, right? So you need to start looking, eating healthy. You need to, like you said, procrastination is a thief of time. You need to make a decision now. And
Yeah.
I guess to me, the pressure that I found myself in, and I was able to navigate through good relationship and having quality friends around me, is the fact of trying to live to impress someone. And that
Yep.
is where the problem is. Oh, look at me, I was famous and now I'm here, and what are people going to think? And
Yep.
I guess the point of living for a lifestyle instead of living for a purpose, that's what
Yep.
I think to me, that's what's been killing a lot of us mentally, because
Yeah.
it's hard. The pressure is hard. The
Yeah.
materialistic of how, I'm not saying that do not be materialistic. Of course, you work hard and you need to reward yourself. And how do you reward yourself? With some sort of material, kind of value. But you need to put value to it rather than price. And when you put value to what you're about to get, you actually realize that sometimes it's okay that you don't have it now,
Yeah.
but it's not okay not to have it either, because you have a purpose and you have a value assigned to it as opposed to price. So this is how, for me, I look at things.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, that's how I look at stuff. Now, and on that note, we can also, our audiences are welcome to share their experiences, to let
Yeah.
us know how they deal with stress, how they deal with difficulties, especially in this pandemic where things are very hard. You're hearing no left, right, center. I mean, we've went through a very, proper downturn when COVID hit.
Yeah.
We were sitting on a 95% rental collection to 50 to 40 to 60. And how do you maneuver? How do you manage it? And again, it's the point of planning beforehand. It's the point of cutting your cloth according to your size. It's the
Yeah.
point of minding your own business. And we talk about the personal finance, and we talk about the wealth building, and we talk about what systems you need to put in place to be able to
Yeah.
build yourself up, and to be able to realize that it's okay to have 100 rand so far as you're making profits. Forget
Yeah.
about the guy that's driving a million rent car. Of course, it's nice to drive it if that's your aspiration. I'm not saying to you don't do that, but you need to do it with purpose. You need
Yeah.
to you need to know that this is not going to hang you, but this is
Yeah.
going to make you float, and chill like a
Yeah.
billy at a
Yeah.
coast somewhere, or whatever that tickles your fantasy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, great stuff. I think, and I'm seeing here a good friend of mine, Kuseli Khatebe. In fact, we were at KFC today. They are one of our clients, so we're doing training there with Mkuseli, and we got to actually share and exchange a bit of knowledge there, and that's how he actually came about tuning in. And I can see there he's commenting. Shout out to you, bro. And one of the most important things that myself and Kuseri sort of like discussed earlier on was the issue of personal finance, money management, right?
Mhm.
That's the biggest contributor in most of the times. I see unemployment, I see businesses struggling, we're going through an economic meltdown, fine, but it's money management at times that leads people to actually being depressed.
Yes.
Honestly speaking, I strongly believe that we as a black nation, and I'll put it that way. I always say that. I always say
Mm.
finance literacy is almost a black heritage because we're never taught, not knowing about other
Yes.
cultures. I'm not from there, so
Yes.
and other ethnic groups. I don't grow up from there, and I can't judge from
Yes.
the outside. But I know from my own experiences, friends, family members, that we were never taught finance literacy. It's not a
Yes.
it's not a discussion, and it's like sex. It's taboo, in black
Yes.
families, and
Yes.
you start learning about it at a later stage of your life. Where you have to learn by real life experiences and practices. And then this is like going to war in Ukraine or Russia or whatever without training, and they
Yes.
just
Yes.
come and fight with us, and You get there, you don't know how to operate the rifle. You get there, you don't know anything about war, right? So if teaching our children young finance literacy will help them navigate life better, at a later stage, because we won't be around forever. My father is never here, and I've never really met him. My mother is not here. My grandmother, no one is there. I'm alone, and now I need to navigate through this life. But no one ever taught me to respect a rent. No one ever taught me that if you make 100 rand a month, by the end of the year, you need to be left with something that you've saved up at least. So when you start the next year, you started with something instead of with nothing. And the mentality we have is living hand to mouth, where we've got jobs and you live and drive whatever according to what your job pays you. And when that job goes away or you lose it, it's like someone pulled a plug from your life support machine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I don't think we're supposed to live like that. If Mr. Ekow, when COVID hit, I remember in 2020, and this experience where rental was not coming in at all. In fact, tenants were moving back home. I mean, with me, mostly students. Students are going home. There's no school. People are losing jobs. And now I'm left with empty properties and I have to pay bond, insurances, and all kinds of things. If you don't have savings, what do you do in that situation?
Exactly.
Right? You're drowning in debt.
Exactly.
And I think that's when I started learning that saving money is very important. The only way to make more money is not to spend it. In fact, not to spend it all. Have a budget, man. We talk about this all the time to say the importance of finance literacy is teaching you about budgeting. If you earn this kind of money, what does your budget look like on a month-to-month basis? Are you living above your means or below your means? Are you living, within your means? What's your budget? Many people, and no offense to my people that are tuning in, I see we've got 7 viewers at the moment, but many of us guys, and let's all agree, if you agree, can you please comment there in the section? How many of us have budgets or have drafted or written down budgets that we live according to every month? How many of us can safely and confidently say, I have a budget that I live by and I've been consistent, and as a result, if I were to face this tough time or this rainy day, I'm able to carry myself and my family through? Because the honest truth, and don't get me wrong, Mr. Ekow, if you've been saving up money, because there are things called rainy days, they exist. If you've been saving up money, the honest truth is that when tough times come, you are able to have an umbrella on you for that rainy day. But if you don't have it, then you think the option is to kill yourself. Honestly.
Yes.
Honestly, because the fear of the unknown, because uncertainty that comes with not knowing where your next meal or next salary will come from and whatnot, it's so overwhelming that actually people end up taking their lives. But if you had the habit of having a budget and you've been saving money, you are able to carry yourself through a certain period of time where you can actually gather strength and rebuild and reinvent yourself. So I'm a big ambassador, an advocate of saving. The best way to make more money is not to spend it. And with saving comes investing. You don't just save money and put it in the bank, because now the bank will take that money, borrow it to Pontsho. Pontsho will invest, but it's your money. So why don't you use the money that you're saving in the form of an investment? Why not put that money somewhere? And people can ask questions like, where do I invest? How do I invest? That's why we are here, as Property Ask Ekow, where our goal is to teach young people, in fact, young or old, we want to build a new a group of legacy builders.
And,
you know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to do. We want to build that group. And okay, I'm seeing a comment here that caught my attention. Kusele is saying having budget is one thing, adhering to it is another story. Personally, that's the truth.
So let me break it down simply for Kusele too. So having budget is one thing, adhering to it is another story, right? It takes consistency. And it's a simple thing. I think the frightening part of it is that it's the same thing like when we started our business, and we've grown multiple businesses over the past 10 years. I mean, in 10 years, we've been able to, accumulate over 70 properties. and we've built with scaling and agility, and it just comes back to basic principle and consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is the only currency that matters. So to me, when I look at my budget, I look at it in 5 buckets. Simple,
Yeah.
right? I've got my financial freedom bucket, right? I've got my necessity, my financial freedom bucket, whatever. If I get 100 rand in my hand, 20 rand, which is 20%, it's a money
Yeah.
that's tagged somewhere. I will never touch that money. It's my financial freedom bucket. That's for the raining days that you're talking about. And when
Yeah.
COVID happened, that's exactly what happened. We were able
Yeah.
to keep on, we were able to still build properties, we were able to still build units because that money was the one that's working during
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Yeah.
And when now the market is up and we've got empty properties and people are tuning in, people are calling in, people want to stay with us because we've invested our money properly. But
Yeah.
20% of your money gives you the financial freedom. 50% of your money, if you start, when I started, it was about 60% of whatever money I get. It goes to necessity. So my bond, my petrol, my allowance, my food, my dating, movie nights, those days, everything sits within the 60%. If it finished, it's finished. I'm broke. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
broke, but I have money. It's
And
like
you
when you
need
broke, but you
discipline.
fly. You need
That
discipline. It's
requires
like
discipline.
when you broke, but you fly business class. That's the
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
class you have to have, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of class you have to have. You broke, but you fly business class because you've planned your life properly and you've
Yeah.
managed your money. 10%
Yeah.
of the money goes into entertainment, right? Another 10% goes into education. You know me, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of education, reading books, buying, podcasts, buying courses, educating, learning something new all the time. This is why we're here. We were able to build businesses because we learn, we invest in our mind, right? So that
Yeah.
10% goes there. But if you break it down in terms of percentages, you'll be able to, and people must look out because we are about to bring in a software, we are about to design something simple for people like this. But for sure, those are the things that you need to look at. And minding your own business. That is the
Yeah.
point. When that guy calls you and you have to go out and it's screaming, let's go have fun. You don't have the money because you've got better plans. That's why I started by saying seek purpose first.
Yeah.
Then everything will fall into place. If you
Yeah.
know your why, you'll be able to manage your money better. If your goal is to become whatever your dream is, you can bring it to
Yeah.
life if you manage your money well. And that's why we're here, right? We cannot talk about entrepreneurship without
Yeah.
talking basic management skills. We cannot
Yeah.
talk about building legacies. We cannot talk about owning all these many properties without understanding how money works. So the
Yeah.
fundamental of whatever that we do is appreciating and understanding the value of money and making sure that money works for you like a slave. You work very hard for your money, so why do
Yeah.
you go then work like a slave? That's the
Yeah.
thing. You
Yeah.
get your money, you spend it all. You're a slave. And
Yeah.
and and we go for financial security, and it's wrong. We must not be talking about financial security. We must be talking about financial freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom is what we go for. Liberation. You can lift your head up and say, I'm free. That's what we go for. You need to build legacies. And legacy is something that even the most stupid person in your family can live on for 20 years. So when we talk about building legacy builders, that is what we mean, that we build 2 generations down the line. And you must
Yeah.
still have fun with that money that you're building legacy with. And and
Yeah.
and and, and that comes with reward. So the point is we chasing money, but I want people to then start stopping in terms of the chasing money, because remember, the end result of making money is not success,
Yeah.
right? The end result of success is making money. Making money will follow you if you're successful, but
Yeah.
making money does not make you successful, right? And how do you become successful? Successful is based on the quality of services or more lives that we can touch. That's it. And once we've been able to, and that comes whether you're an IT, whether you're an advertiser, whatever that story that you have, or whatever the talent that you have, you can still make money out of it if
Yeah.
you then, go in to share, because our services or our reward will be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service. And if you cannot, and what is progress? Well, what is success? Success to me is an ideal or realization of a worthy idea. So
Mm-hmm.
if you do not have a realization, if you haven't realized anything that you're going for, then
Yeah.
forget it. Success will not be written on your face,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it will be the wannabe chasing things, and then you broke, and then what? So so this is why we're here, and
Yeah.
I would like us to take today, to also take people through the basics. So yes, for sure, I live on three principles, right? You make, you invest, you spend. You cannot make, invest.
Yeah.
It's also going to kill your mental ability,
Yeah.
because now tomorrow you look back and your kid is spending your money and you're going crazy because you didn't enjoy life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So someone said it, and I've forgotten who said it. Says we live, we work hard to live life, but we work hard for tomorrow. And when we attain tomorrow, we're too old to even enjoy what we worked for. So you
Yeah.
need to have a process whereby you can enjoy the moment, and hence that's why I've got a 10% of whatever money I make for entertainment. No
Yeah.
matter what happens, that 10% goes, I'll blow that money. And if it
Yeah.
finish, it finished. But I'll blow it and I'll feel good. If
Yeah.
whatever that I spend that money on, I feel good, and it propels me to go get, go and serve more, so that I can be more rewarded. So if your goal, your fund is to drive whatever that you want to do, and it's going to cost you 1 million, then you must make sure that million is 10% of whatever you're making.
Yeah.
Don't go kill yourself. Don't go take a loan that your salary cannot even cover on a monthly
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here to teach people on how to create multiple sources of income.
Yeah.
Irrespective, we use property as an instrument to build that, but people are talented. But how do they unlock their talent? And that's what we're here for. How do you manage your money properly so that you'll be able to create multiple sources of income and create financial freedom?
100%. And and what I love about our journey, at Property Ask Echo is that we, it's always good to learn from experience, right? And this is a logic I use a lot in ministry, where you cannot preach about something you don't know.
Mm.
You cannot preach about hunger, for example, if you've never went to bed, in an empty stomach, or you don't know what the feeling of hunger till your stomach hurts is, right? You need to speak about something that you know and you understand and you come from, so that it's easier for you to give the next person some sort of guidance, how to navigate through and how to come out of a situation. Because half the time we have so many people talk about finance literacy, but at the end of the day, they go bankrupt or they go broke or whatever the case may be. We've got so
Mhm.
many people who portray this well put, I've got life figured out sort of like personality in the social media space. But when you look at them in the long run, it's not evident. It doesn't really show that this person has been building for the past, 10 years. I always say to my friends, and I said this before I went my separate ways with my friends, because, obviously when you get married, your wife becomes your friend. My wife is my best friend. So I've sort of like let go of certain friendships that I felt were, leading me to environments or situations where I'm pressured. Peer pressure is a
Mm.
thing, and
Yes.
most young people don't suffer, mental health because of real life things like economy and whatnot. It's mostly peer pressure. I want to drive a car like so and so. I want to dress like this person. I want my social media to pop. I want this. I want that. It's the pressures that comes with living in the now, right? But for me, I always ask myself this question: why is it that our longest serving couples or married couples or whatever, why is it that you find them alone towards the end? Like, you look at your grandmother, if she's still with your grandfather, you look at your mom and your dad, if they're still together now, do those people have friends? Are they really concerned about going out every weekend? Are they really concerned about looking cool? We need to start, getting out of the system of trying to look rich and actually be rich. You understand? And I think it's going to take some time, but that is something I want to teach my kids and anyone that's around me, to say it's not really about looking the part, it's about being. Like, you don't have to tell me what you had for breakfast. Have it and be comfortable. You spoke about business class. I don't need to tell you I fly business class. I must do it for me, because when the time comes where I have to eat pap and amasi, am I going to post and tell you about it? No, that's my life. That's my season. That's what I'm going through. So I need to be comfortable to go through situations without feeling like who will think what, or about team, right? So peer pressure is huge. We have high school kids, we have varsity students taking their lives, committing suicide or whatever. Some are relapsing to drugs, and we've got this high rate of substance abuse in the East End, where I come from, and most of it comes from young people that feel like they're not worthy or they didn't achieve enough. But when you ask them, what do you mean? How do you define success? Their success is defined by that person they see from afar on social media who portrays this beautiful, perfect lifestyle. And they feel like, I'm so behind. And you don't even know, chances are you have more money than that person. They live off of debt, right? They're swimming in debt. Yes, they drive BMWs, Mercedes Benzes, but they are swimming in debt. Some people, you don't know what they have to do to get that money. So before you put pressure on yourself, just really self-introspect and ask yourself this question: are you serving your purpose? Are you living your purpose? Or are you just living to exist? Like, are you just existing? Because the moment you've got too many friends and you are living to impress, one, you live for the weekend. That's a life you don't want. You don't want to live for the weekend. Guys, I don't want to get into, Mr. Ekow, the topic of how much money we used to spend on alcohol, trying to impress girls, trying to impress friends. That 1,000 rand that you spend on a Saturday, in fact, that's not even a fraction of what people spend, but that 1,000 rand that you spend either on petrol to the venue and the alcohol and whatever not and whatnot, entertaining your friends, that's money you could have spent buying courses or classes on Udemy, and you could have acquired a skill that no one can take away from you. And you can use that skill as a tool to actually better yourself or to make more money if you define success by money, because I personally don't. For me, how many people I bless is how I measure my success. So the more people we train, and the more those people become professional real estate investors or they become tycoons, for me, I'm fulfilled. I feel like when I die, no one will care how much money I had or how broke I was. Anyone and everyone will be talking about the impact I had in people's lives. And that is something I also admire a lot about someone like Ricky Rick, right? We can have our opinions and, whatever, views about the situation, but the man did so much. He's changed so many young people's lives, and it's evident. That legacy is living on till today. We still have your Uncle Vinny's, we still have your Big Hashes, all of these people that were brought up in the scene by this young man. He's gone now, but his legacy lives on. So the question you should be asking yourself is, what legacy am I leaving behind? When my kid looks at my life 10, 20 years from now, what is it that they will be proud of? In fact, let's talk about you. 10 years down the line from now, when you look back, the sleepless nights, the struggles, going through 24 hours it's a lot on its own, but you have gone through so many 365 days, but you have nothing to show for it. And for me, that's the point where I will feel like I've failed my purpose in this life. If I look back and I did not touch anyone's life or change anyone's life, it doesn't need to be people from the outside. It can be your family. As Black people, we come from broken families, man. And that's why we've got things such as your black tax. We've come from families where when you work hard, instead of progressing and going further, you need to go backwards and make sure that you fix whatever it is that you're leaving behind before you can move on to a better phase of your life, right? And that's just the reality. So what if you, instead of giving fish to your cousins and your friends and your boys, why don't you give them fishing rods? Why don't you bring them our classes and let us teach them how to fish and how to get more fish, right? And for me, that's the mentality we need to carry now. That
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a simple thing in the Bible. Jesus says, "I will make you fishers of men." He could have, I mean, with all the miracles that he had, he could have just given them bread and fish, and then they walk away. But he had to teach them. So I agree with that. It's very important. And I guess to sum it up, the reason why people go through all of this is, one, people do not mind their own business. And minding your own business is a skill that takes long for you to master. But it's something that if you come to our class, or even if you don't come to our class, the mere fact that you watch our video is something you need to strive for. If you want to be good or great at what you do, you need to master two things: minding your own business and delaying gratification, right? For example, for me, this shirt that I'm wearing, before I buy this shirt, I'm asking myself, who is going to pay for it? Simple. Who is going to pay for it? And what services have I provided to get somebody to pay for this shirt? Period. And
Yeah.
and is there a better way? This shirt I'm wearing, right? It's a classy label. I'm wearing it, but I bought it at 75% discount. I bought it on sale. I've got,
Yeah.
that in South Africa in February, shops are going on sale. The
Yeah.
raining days, I've saved for that. I'm still wearing. In
Yeah.
June, shops are going on sale. That's when I buy my suits. I get it for, you go to Tiger of Sweden, you buy something for the same price that somebody is going to get it at what you call China City, but a good brand. I delay gratification. I know what I want. I know how I want to look like. I know what makes me feel good, both inside and outside. But I delay gratification. And those are the two things that you need to master, right? You need to ask yourself, is buying that BM that's paying 500,000 and you're paying over 10,000 rand a month, including insurance and everything, taking you to 11,000, 12,000 rand a month, better than getting the same loan and get yourself a property to stay in, even if you're not renting out? Which
Yeah.
one? So we talk about legacy burden. I always say to my friends, and even varsity, since varsity, I've been saying this to my friends, and everybody that meets you talk about Ekow will tell you the same thing. Are you going to sleep in that car? That's my question. I've
Yeah.
slept in a car before. I was a taxi driver and my car broke down. And I've slept in a car at a garage, and I know how painful it is to sleep in a car. You wake up with all your joints sore. So
Yeah.
it's a vow. I will never ever sleep in that car. And therefore, my money is not going to sit in that car.
Yeah.
My money is going to sit in my legacies. My money is going to sit in my shelters. My money
Yeah.
is going to sit in my, the shops, the education that we're teaching people. That is
Yeah.
where I'll invest my money. It works out, it doesn't work out, but it's going to work out. So
Yeah.
those are the things that young people should look at and ask yourself that question. How much do you want to earn when you turn 60?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a cool granddad, or you
Yeah.
want to be a normal granddad for respect that we can't use certain words online,
Yeah.
but what kind of a granddad do you want to look like? You want to Jay-Z has something. I admire Jay-Z, so I always go back to Jay-Z. Forever young. That forever young. When you leave your legacies, I'm not saying that, guys, I'm not saying starve yourself because you're gonna go mad. What I'm saying is do what is hard so that life becomes easy.
Yeah.
Taste
Now,
bitter
to what
before
to
sweet.
what is that now?
Hard now so that life becomes easy. That's what I'm saying. Enjoy whilst you're doing what is hard. Because if you
Yeah.
don't make it fun, you also wouldn't see the purpose. Hence,
Yeah.
the reason why. The purpose.
Yeah.
What is the purpose that you want to serve before you
Yeah.
even embark on anything?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true, and I think the topic of purpose, we've covered it before on our YouTube channel when we interviewed Mr. Zibusiso Mkhwanazi, the executive chairman of Eminent Brands, and he spoke quite a lot about purpose and why it's very important for anyone and everyone to have purpose, in life, because without purpose, you're simply existing, honestly, and you go with the wind. You just go each direction. It blows. I mean, we're going through an unrest. We're going through a pandemic, an economic meltdown, and you are going with that. But if you've got a purpose and you've been consistently serving your purpose, you always find a way to reinvent yourself, because at the end of the
Yes.
day, anyone that lives with a purpose, it's never about them. I feel like if you're an individual and everything is about you, then you are a selfish coward, right? And we can't live like that. It cannot be about you. We all need to live for something. The moment you leave for something, I feel you have more reason to leave. And you are not going to wake up the next morning, Mr. Ekow, and not take a bath and say, I don't have a job, I'm not working, so why should I bath? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. You always need to be prepared. I don't care where you're from. I don't care whether you live in a shack or in a one-room house. I don't care. That don't bother me, because you can wake up tomorrow and be a totally different person. You know, I came from Bushbuck Ridge. Those that know Bushbuck Ridge will tell you it's ridiculous to tell them the dreams that we have. You know, to say someday I'll be flying business class. First of all, you're talking business class, but you've never seen an aeroplane, for that matter. You've never seen an Airbus in your life, but you're talking business class. It's crazy to have such dreams, but we had those dreams, right? And I think it was those dreams and purpose that led us here, because you have dreams, but along the way, there's so many distractions. You know, it can be in a form of people, it can be in a form of lifestyle, can be in any form, but there will always be distractions. But if there's one thing you're consistent in, then that's your purpose. You're not easily sort of like distracted or derailed from your success. And I've learned that quite a lot from Mr. Busum Kwanas. You know, the man has been consistent. And I remember when he said to me, and I think you were in that meeting, when he said, I'm never consistent, and I've never started and finished anything. That's my biggest problem. And he's always said that to me, even when I was in varsity. You know, I would start businesses, leave it along the way, start another business. If something comes up, let's say I go to America and I see this dope idea, which I used to do quite a lot. When I see a dope idea in New York or Brazil or wherever, I'll come back to the country and be like, I want to implement this. I want to bring Wi-Fi to Joburg. I want like to give free Wi-Fi to young people who are waiting in Gandhi Square and blah, blah. I had all these big dreams, you know, and I want to convert that and turn it into a digital billboard, you know, and run advertising space, and all that money goes back to investing in the youth and so. And every time you come back from a trip, it doesn't matter what part of the world you went to, you come back with something new and you want to implement that. And I think that was a character that I had to change personally. I had to say, I am going to sell fish and chips, and I am going to consistently sell fish and chips until that fish and chips makes me R1 million a month, or for example. And it's consistency, you know, and it's a pattern that I've seen with most young people. And you see it in the small things, Mr. Ekow. Someone who cannot stay in a job for a year or two. You keep moving from one job to another. If you spent 5 years in that business, you would have become a manager or executive or something in that 5 years. But because in 5 years you've been to 3 companies, you are forever a junior in your field, right? Because you keep moving around. So same with business. If you keep starting businesses, starting this one, stopping, you will forever be an entrepreneur that's on the come up, that's trying to figure things out. Start a business or start a journey, whether it's in real estate investing, stick to it. Be consistent in it. It doesn't matter how much money you make out of it. Sometimes, Mr. Ekow, even with real estate, you know this. You can own a portfolio or have a portfolio but not make any money from it, but you are breaking even. Sometimes even worse, you are losing money for that matter. You know, I've gone like a year or two losing money, but it was the purpose that I knew and the drive behind doing what I'm doing that kept me going. And I felt, you know what, I cannot stop now, because I've never measured my success or growth by money. I've never said, if I don't make this much money, I'm leaving this and I'm going here. For me, it's always been about, I want to invest in real estate because I want to provide shelter, and shelter is a need. That's what I'm doing. I wanted to invest in logistics, which I currently do, because transportation is a need, and it will forever be a need. Even if they introduce electric flying cars, I will buy a fleet of flying cars, because transportation is a need. And those are my investments, and that's where I am, because I've always felt like my purpose is to provide a solution to a need, but ultimately create jobs along the way, take care of my family, take care of my friends, and be able to be in this position where I can help other people, you know, overcome certain circumstances which I have overcome. But I think there's a question here, Mr. Ekow, before we announce the winner for the class, right? Mr. Khatebe is saying, can we please have the other 3 buckets of budgeting?
Okay, so I've spoken about the financial freedom bucket. I've spoken about entertainment. I've spoken about necessity. So entertainment is 10%, necessity is 50%. I'm sitting on 50, but When you start 60, 65 is cool. We talk about education, which is 10%. We talk about charity. Charity is very, very, very important. It's dear to my heart. My purpose of living is how do I share what I gain with others? Not giving, guys, not giving. You share, not giving. So sharing can come with this education. Now we're sharing 50,000 rand of real estate course, a course that I've gone through for 10 years, that's been able to help me to build over 70 units, apartments. That's making us good profits on a monthly basis. You're getting it for free. But we didn't give it to you. You did something. You watched, you listened, you answered. So we're sharing. That's what sharing is. The people say giving is caring. Giving is not caring. Sharing is caring, because when you share, you teach. When you give, you kill. And that's what people need to understand. You give, you kill. You share, you teach.
That's true.
So charity is very, very important. A street kid on the street, maybe buying him food, you sharing, bringing him in, talking, thinking, because I promise you there are so many smart kids on the street. Going to church, helping people, helping the orphanage, those kind of things. That's what sharing is all about, impacting people. So charity, to me, it's key. So that's another bucket that I look into. Entertainment, traveling, everything falls under entertainment. So those are the 5 basic buckets. I go with the term which I call the 50, 20, 10, 10, 10, which then adds up to 100%. I have 100 rand, simple. Nothing derails me. Simple. 50, 20, 10, 10, 10. That's it. And that's how we break it. If you want to know more, they should watch my budgeting video. It's on YouTube. I've got a budgeting video on YouTube, and it teaches more. But also in the class, we have a free consultation. People mustn't forget that. They can then, book with our team a free 50-minute consultation. We can talk about that. We can talk about principles. We can talk about, besides that, and that's what we do. And people must look at that. By just watching the mere video, you'll be able to learn a lot. And if there's any confusion, shout out to the team, and then we'll make something happen for you. There's always free 50-minute consultation that you can tap into. And I think are we ready to get into the
announcement?
Yeah. So I think before we've got a winner, but before we go through, I just want to let people know the value, of the 50,000 rand worth of course, and what do you get out of it. So again, you're going to get through. We've got 4 modules in our class, and on the real estate side that we're giving. We've got, we're not talking about the entrepreneurship, the introduction to entrepreneurship. We're not talking about introduction to personal finance, where we talk about the 3 pillars of how you see your money, which is saving, which is protecting, and which is the third one, making your money earn more money for you, which is basically make your money become a slave. And that we talk about, succession burden, how to create your will, what experts you need to talk to, how do you protect yourself, what is the leadership that you burden, the transition leadership, is it being left to your kid? You need to make those decisions before you even start working. I always say, when I build businesses for 2 things, right? I ask myself question, how do I sell that business? How do I make profits? And once I've answered that question, it just always boils down to what value are you adding to people's life? Because when you add value to people's life, those 2 questions will be answered. Somebody will buy the business, and you're going to make profits. And this course gives you, so in the pre-investing essential concept of real estate, you're going to learn how many ways to invest in real estate. real estate cycles. What cycles do we go through? We've got a
Yeah.
hyper cycle, we've got, depression, we've got booming cycle. How do you identify that? Each cycle has its own advantage and disadvantage. We've gone through
Yeah.
all the cycles in the
Yeah.
past 12 years. We've gone through, and we're going to teach you that, and we're going to teach you the systems we use to maneuver that. I mean, the biggest one is the COVID that we've also survived it. So we've got enough experience to take you. I will say, we've gone through a lot. We've gone through hell. So we'll be able to teach you how to go through hell and how to go through hard life to come out of
Yeah.
it. You're going to learn how to choose a market. How do you value a property? Do you even know how to value a property? Do you understand the property market? What makes a good investment? All these things we're going to teach you. Then we take you through the introduction of real estate property analysis. How do you what is the investment analysis? What is investment process? How do you measure your returns? What impact do you have, or what is the impact of debt on returns? If you borrow money from a bank, how are you going to make that money work for you? Investment considerations. We do case study. Then we
Yeah.
take you through the complete guide to analyzing single family rent, where we talk about single family rent investment strategies, acquisition processes, asset management and exit strategies. Like I said, when I do business, I always think of two things. How do I make money? How do I exit? How do I sell it? How do I exit? What
Yeah.
strategy are you using? We'll teach
Yeah.
you that, so that no matter how bad the situation is, at least you break even. A
Yeah.
good market, you take care of the negatives. That's what we teach people. We're going to teach you. Our students are there, they can attest to it, but we teach you how do you take care of the negatives so that the
Yeah.
positive will always take care of itself. And then on the fourth module, that's something that's dear to my heart. You're going to learn real estate financial model. So property cash flow statement analysis.
Yeah.
How are you going to understand your cash flow? How do you present to a bank and say, this is my business?
Yeah.
Modeling property operations, the systems, prepaid meters, painting your property. How do you go? What are the systems you put in place? How do you calculate these things that you don't overcapitalize? So you've spent
Yeah.
$1 million and you're only getting 10,000 rent through rentals. What exercises, what research did you put in place? All of this we're going to teach you in that, and that's part of the 50,000. These are all different modules. These are all have their own specific prices. But when you put it together, your real estate investment analysis, when you put all of this together, that's a 50,000. And this is what we're talking about. It's over 20 hours worth of material that we're giving. It's over a month and a half, 8 weeks course of material that we've given. And this is for free. And we expect that the guy that is just one will be able to utilize this and go ahead and create financial freedom and touch other people's life. Teach the people, let them know, educate people, share your successes with other people, and let people believe that it is real, irrespective of where we come from. I was not born into a rich family. I'm from a middle class family. But my purpose, my dream, what makes me wake up every day, put me in a different category. And that's what makes me who I am. I don't have an uncle that's got billions sitting there. Every single thing that we've done, every single businesses that we built, it's first through our own blood and sweat before somebody adds something to it. I can
Yeah.
do it. I've done it. You can do it. You can do it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times what we've done. And that's
Yeah.
what we aspire for. We want people to come in and be bigger than us. And that's what all these things is.
100%. And thank you so much, Mr. Ekow, for that. I think that's a precise and clear way
Yes.
of explaining the class. So now, drum roll, we are ready for the winner. So I don't know, Mr. Ekow, who's doing the announcement? Is it you? Is it Nola? Who's doing it?
We'll do it. We'll do it. I'll do it. So I mean, the winner was simple. He answered the question. He participated with us during the live session, during the budget session, and it's just simple. It's Bongani Bob. Bongani Bob. If you listen to us, you've won yourself a 50,000 rand worth of property Ask Ekow class, master class. and we're excited. We're hoping to embark this journey with you. On a personal note, you also beyond this, whoever that comes into our class, and everybody knows Mr. Pontsho, you can attest to it because you were once a student, and now look at you, you're a partner with me here. And what everybody knows, and all the students that have come through, is that just beyond the class, you also have a lifetime relationship, and you've got lifetime access to me, to Pontsho, to the team. So well done. We'll chat further. The team will then communicate with you. You send us your information, your email, and we communicate with you on a private note and let you know when we start the class and when to enroll. We're looking forward to embark this journey with you. And on that note, I also would like to thank you, Mr. Pontsho, for showing up once again, for making this such an exciting live. And again, what we ask our viewers is to subscribe and to like our videos, comment, stay in touch with our team on all social media, on Property Ask Ekow. That's our handle. On the YouTube, we've got over 150 videos on YouTube worth of knowledge. You can tap into it. It's Property Ask Ekow. Watch the videos, and thank you for spending your time with us. We look forward to consistently having interactions and engagements with you. Have a peaceful evening, and until next time, bye-bye.